Hey, what's up, you guys? So, welcome back to another toy review, and today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Ravager Thor. And yep, finally, after delaying this for such a long time, this is basically my very first Marvel Legends toy review on this channel since I've been mostly reviewing Ultraman figures. So, of course, this is finally something new. So, I did a little poll asking what would you guys like me to review first, and a lot of you voted for Ravager Thor, so I thought that that'd be, the perfect fit to kind of start off this, I guess this new journey of toy reviews, I guess. Like I've mentioned, I've always reviewed most of the Bandai Ultraman figures, the the Safubi or the Spark Dolls figures. So finally, it's kind of nice for a change. So of course, this figure is from the Core Build-A-Figure wave. And as you can see, this figure is based off of the movie Thor: Love and Thunder, which is the fourth Thor film. So, of course, just a little quick synopsis, just to talk a little bit about the film. Basically, the story centers around Gore, also known as the God Butcher, and basically he uses the Necro Sword. I think that's what it's called, the Necro Sword. And basically, he uses it to kill other gods. So he's out to pretty much kill anyone that stands in his way. And of course, obviously, you got Thor and his pals going on this journey, this kind of weird journey because the movie was kind of like a combination of like an action comedy and so. But I don't want this to be a movie review, but that's kind of what turned a lot of people off with the film was that it had a very like heavy sense of like comedic tones and all that because the movie was pretty much goofy after all. I mean, it's literally called Love and Thunder. I mean, just look at the box. And I also want to note this is not the box that this figure came in. I have the box stored away in storage. And so this is from Thor when he wears his armor. So the figure, like I say, this is the one that we're going over, and this is the Marvel's Core Build-A-Figure wave. As you can see, you get the whole set right there. He comes with Korg's left arm. I already attached it to the figure, so unfortunately I can't really show it to you separate. But hopefully, maybe one day when I do like a live toy review of a Marvel Legends figures, we'll get right to it. So yeah, let's get right to the figure. The sculpting is very nice for the most part, especially around the face, because I feel like that it definitely captures the look of the actor Chris Hemsworth. So that's pretty neat, I mean, don't get me wrong. There has been other Thor figures that definitely capture that detail as well, and you can even see all the beautiful paint job with all those browns and yellows and all that, which is very neat because I feel like personally with some Thor figures, I feel like they don't really do it as good as this one. I don't know why. This one it's pretty unique in a sense. And of course, before I move on, I also need to talk about the obvious thing with Thor. And if I'm being very honest with you guys, I honestly thought that Avengers Endgame was going to be the last time we would see this version of Thor. Because obviously, he got kind of sad and depressed and all that. I mean, I'm not going to spoil too much of it, even though Endgame came out a long time ago. Long story short, he got fat, so it's interesting to see how in this film they pretty much talk about how he got back to kind of doing his thing, even though he no longer has his hammer. He has his axe. Uh, Lost a lot of weight. Let me focus on that a little bit. I love the detail on it, just the clothing. But I just want to talk a little bit more too about Thor's transformation to being a big buff guy again, because the muscles do look pretty good too. I mean, it's just one tone. You don't really get too much into the paint with his arms, but I think that's fine. They got all the other details correct. I mean, I definitely love like the way that the fabric looks and the wrinkles onto the jacket and all that. Even his jeans. I mean, he looking good. I mean, not like how he was fat. I mean, if you guys seen Avengers Endgame, you know exactly what I mean. And what's also cool to note down as well as, around this time, when he was like working out and all, he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy and he was basically hanging around with them fighting against evil. But unfortunately, they don't really last too long in the film. That was kind of like a quick thing at the beginning. But I won't talk no more about the film. Let's just kind of go right with the figure. Um, you know, yeah, I like the paint job. It's really good. Like I said, the sculpting, it's great. I don't really have any complaints toward this figure, honestly. You see all the details. You see his shirt, just kind of give you an idea, and the design. The only thing is that if you kind of lift him up just a little bit, with that little ab crunch, you do see a little bit more of the detail. But I mean, I think it's fine. I think like that, it's not really a big deal. It's not like it's covering too much detail because I know like with figures and specific like Venom, I know he kind of suffers that issue where with the spider logo sometimes it does get a little bit kind of covered up because of that kind of app crunch thing, and got some nice little wave, I mean waist, wave, waist swivel and all that. So that's pretty good. He's very posable. A lot of these Marvel Legends figures, they're very, very posable. So he got the double joints, in the knees and the elbows. So you don't gotta worry too much about that, which is good. See, you could get some really nice, cool poses with them, which is fantastic. I mean, like I said, when it comes to Hasbro and their Marvel Legends figures, they're always pretty good on the posing department. Usually they don't really disappoint unless we're dealing with like single joints, but it's good that they didn't put that with him, especially when we're talking about his accessory, which is the axe. Now he only comes with two accessories. He comes with his battle axe and the Build-A-Figure piece, and that's about it. He does not come with any interchangeable hands, unfortunately, but it's not a huge killer. It's not like the worst thing in the world. So at least you got that kind of going on. I guess if I honestly, the sculpting and everything else in the paint, it's perfect. If I have to complain about one thing though about it, is that if you look at the straps on his boots, they got that ugly seam kind of going on. You see that line where my fingernail is, and it's like, I don't know. It does look pretty ugly. I kind of wish that they didn't do that. But obviously there was probably no other way to kind of, sculpt the figure. So for all I know, maybe they didn't like it either, but they don't have a choice. You can see they have it back here too, but it's not as bad. Uh, you know. And in case you're wondering, no, he does not. His boot does not move, but you do got the thigh swivel, so that's all good. Don't gotta worry about that. Let's take more look at the detail. Honestly, I'm all over the place with this review because I already, pretty much went to the conclusion, with his weapons and all that. I normally like to say that for last. Um, and of course, like I mentioned, even though he don't got any interchangeable hands, um, at least he does. His hands are nice and open enough to where he can hold his weapon, so it's no big deal. So as for the weapon that he comes with, the detailing on it, if my camera can focus on it, I guess my camera really loves Thor. It doesn't even want to focus on the weapon. Hold up. Now that is hilarious. Maybe we need to back Thor up just a little bit more. There we go. That's perfect. So yeah, about his axe, right? So he got this in Infinity War, basically, because like I've pretty much already spoiled, he doesn't have his hammer no more. But see, oops, see here, he got the brown stick thing that was from Groot. You know, when he was helping Thor build the axe, and there's a little bit of a nice kind of shine, as you could kind of see with the plastic right there. So it's like a mix of gray and silver. And the details do look very nice, especially with the branch part 2, don't get me wrong. But the reason why I'm focusing so much on his weapon, it's because you'll definitely notice the design change. If you own the Thor figure based on Infinity War, yeah, the sculpting from the axe is definitely different. Unfortunately, I don't have the figure, so I can't do a proper comparison. Just to kind of give you guys a good idea, that specific Thor figure with the different acts, he came during the Cole. I hope I say his name right. The Cole Upspeeden, something like that. During the Cole Upspeeden build figure wave. They also did release that figure in a 3-pack that came with Rocket Raccoon and Groot or Teen Groot. So I just thought I'd kind of let you guys know that just in case you wonder why the axe is so different, because this version of the axe, I believe the first time we saw this version, it came with the Fat Thor figure, which I will show you guys the comparison. But of course, before I do that, let's see how he looks with his axe. Just kind of try and work it in there. Once you get it in, it's no big deal. In fact, it works pretty good. That's the only downside to it. If I could, there we go. That's the only downside to it, is that it's a little bit loose. He got that kind of loose grip thing going on, which is a little bit unfortunate. The good news is it's not gonna like flail, it's not gonna fly away or anything like that. It's still gonna stay on there nicely. So you don't gotta worry about that. But it does flail. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the axe is a little bit gummy, so it's very easy to kind of bend it. Yeah, I don't think I need to go any further to how annoying that is, but it's not like a huge killer for the figure. It's not like that's like the one thing that ruins it. You know, you can still kind of enjoy the figure for what it is, you know. If I could try and pose him holding it right there. Come on. There we go. Perfect. I mean, you see that looks pretty good. Look, we got freaking lumberjack Thor. I mean, that's what a lot of people like to call him because he honestly does look like a lumberjack. I mean, look at that. And he could definitely do some nice chopping or hammering if you wanted to. That's pretty good, you know. That's nice. All right, so just it's a cool figure. What can I say? It's nice to kind of play around with it a little bit. There we go. Just zoom in a little bit, and then all right, yeah. So let's do the comparisons. All right, there we go. I got him in my favorite pose. There you go. So here he is compared to Fat Thor, based on Avengers Endgame, and this figure came out during the Hasbro's Infinity Saga wave, where they basically release a whole bunch of Marvel figures based off of the Marvel's the phases 1, 2, and 3. So as you can see, he comes. You see, it's the exact same axe. The only thing is, like I say, because I had it in that position for a long time, you can see that the axe is kind of warping a little bit. So it's not, as long as it's not like a permanent bend, you can always try and fix it, but it is a little bit annoying. But I thought I kind of show you guys, the comparison because, he lost a lot of weight during his time, so it's good to kind of see him good and back in shape. You can even see like the hair difference and all that. And I will be reviewing this figure somewhere in the future. I'm not really sure when. So let's move on to the next figure. Actually, hold up. Yeah, because I mentioned that I review Ultraman figures a lot. Cheers to give you guys a good idea. This is the Bandai Ultra Hero Series Ultraman figure. This is what I mostly review, so hopefully this will be, like the beginning of me reviewing Marvel Legends and all that, because I'm already having a blast reviewing this, so that's pretty good, just to kind of give you an idea, because these figures, they go around the 6 or 7 inch kind of, deal, while these figures are meant to be much more smaller. One thing I almost forgot to mention, too, here's another comparison with the hold up. Hataziras. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably butchering it. Now, the reason why I wanted to kind of show him off too, it's because there's always been this weird misconception with Thor's size, where, and don't get me wrong, it's always been like that. Even ever since Marvel Legends just first started back in 2002, it's always been like that. Where Thor is always meant to be this big, like giant character. He's always super tall, basically. He's always going to be taller than all the Avengers, except for Hulk, obviously. But you get the point. But when it comes to the MCU Thor, it's slightly different. He's not that tall, but it doesn't really bother me. But I can definitely see why it might bother some people. I just thought I'd let you guys know just in case, because maybe you got that preference too. Speaking of preference, let's take a look at good old Wolverine right here too. This video was like the second highest during the votes, so I cannot promise that, but maybe I might review him next. I'm not sure, I mean, like I've mentioned, I want to give the people what they want. Another one that was on the high vote too was Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. He got tied up with him, so we're gonna see how that goes. I'll probably do another poll just to be safe. So yeah, that's about it, so that kind of ends the review there. So thank you guys for joining in. I mean, I'm super happy that we, got to finally do a toy that's, a toy review that's not Ultraman, and this is a really solid figure for the most part. It's actually pretty good, and it's unfortunate that the movie isn't really all that great, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, that's just my opinion. I thought it was nice and fun. It's kind of one of those movies where you could kind of pass the time and like just kind of watch something. But obviously, when it comes to the character, like Thor, you kind of wish it wasn't like that, which is ironic because this movie was directed by the same guy that did the previous film, Thor Ragnarok. So it's like, it's kind of weird how he went from creating one of the best Thor movies to debatably one of the worst, because a lot of people were like, nah, Thor in the Dark World isn't that great, but a lot of people definitely got a lot of harsher opinions towards Thor Love and Thunder, so I'm just saying, this is a good set of figures. They're all MCU. Oops, sorry about that, you guys. My dog barged into my room, So I lost my train of focus. Anyway, yeah. So the core Build-A-Figure wave just mostly comprises of just mostly MCU characters. They're all based off of just this one film. You got everybody here, and the reason why I mention that is because sometimes they like to combine it with like comic book characters. So no, these are all MCU characters. So just to kind of give you guys a good little idea of what to expect, and like I said again, thanks for joining in. I've been super excited to kind of go over this. I mean, this is, I do apologize. This review is a little bit messy, but, this is my first toy review, going over Marvel Legends. And obviously, this was one of the easier ones because he really doesn't come with anything. He only comes with his axe. And it's a pretty good figure despite some flaws. It's not a huge big deal. I give this figure a good 9 out of 10. It's perfect. The sculpting, it's good. Paint job, it's great, texture, especially around his shirt, his jacket, the wrinkles in his jeans and all that. It's great, he got that nice lumberjack look. Even though he doesn't wear this for too long in the film, that's perfectly fine. Of course, obviously, the only bad thing is just the axe and how it kind of wobbles. But besides that, it's not a bad figure. It's actually pretty good, Let me see. Can we reenact his pose? If I can do it in frame, but I doubt it. Let me see. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, there we go. Let me see if I could set that up. Look at that. Nice. Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed the review. So leave a like and subscribe for more. Hopefully I'll, get to the next one as soon as possible. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.